What's up guys, welcome back to day number 2 of my Blizzcon predictions. Today we're going to be having a look at Group B, also known as the Group of Death, including Serral, Maru, Stats and Time. Start the tape. In today's group we're going to be having Stats, Serral, Maru and Time battling it out. And this is a very interesting group as it has both the actual world champion Serral and it has the runner-up of last year, Stats, in it. It's also going to be the first match actually, Stats versus Serral, and it's a very interesting one because these guys have a lot of history. Of course, last year Serral managed to beat Stats twice, once in GSL versus the World and then once in the Blizzcon finals, claiming two big tournaments for Serral. This year, however, Stats has also taken a big win off of Serral by beating him at Aces Rock in his home country in Finland. So Serral has been looking a little weak against Stats in the past 6-7 months. However, in my mind, Serral has improved a lot against the particular style that Stats was playing. Stats was playing a triple oracle with Phoenix style, doing a lot of drone damage. A lot of the maps back then in the map pool were very well fit for this kind of style where you could easily fly into mineral lines, wreak havoc, then fly out and follow it up with a quick 4 or 6 gate push. And that's really how Stats won most of his games, if not all of them, against Serral. Now that this style has been figured out a bit more by the European Zergs and the Korean Zergs alike, I would be very surprised to see Stats do well against Serral. Stats, in general, his CVP is okay, it's good, but it's not something extremely special. I feel like he's lacking something extra, the unpredictability that some other players like Classic or SOS have, for example. They feel like they can pull out anything. Hero can do the same. Stats, it doesn't feel the same. He always tries to go for the standard approach, and I feel like his standard approach will probably not work against Serral, so I'm gonna be giving the first match to Serral with a 3-1 victory. For the second match we will have Maru versus Time, and this is going to be, in my opinion, one of the bigger stomps in this tournament. I think Time is an absolutely fantastic player, but he has not really been able to stand a chance against Maru this year. He lost 3-4 series this year against Maru, and his TVZ hasn't been looking, or his TVT hasn't been looking too hot. And Maru's TVT does look like it's in fantastic shape. Perhaps it isn't the best in the world, but it is in a very good spot. So if I were to predict this one, I would definitely go for a 3-0 for Maru. That brings us to his third match, which is Time versus Stats. Now, a lot of people look at this match and will say, well, that's an easy win for Stats, right? Time's worst matchup is TVP. They've played 4 times before. Stats won 3 out of the 4. Rather convincingly as well with the numbers that he won with. So a lot of people look at it and be like, all right, this is over. Let's go to the decider match for Stats already. But I'm not so sure if it is. Time is a player who I feel like has improved a lot recently, so past results don't matter too much, and he actually seems to be able to play better if his opponent is better as well. He really seems to be able to get a very high level, and he had a lot of time to prepare for this. He most likely knows he's gonna play Stats somewhere, so I think Time will have some stuff prepared. I feel like if this was a best of 3, I might have given it to Time, but just because Stats is so solid and it is a best of 5, I will have to give it to Stats with a 3-2 victory. Moving on to the winners match, we will have the probably most anticipated best of 5 in all of StarCraft 2, I want to say. For years, people have been wanting a best of 5 at either a BlizzCon or a GSL versus the World between these two players. We've had a best of 5 before at WESG 2018 in which Maru won, but that's almost over a year and a half ago. So I don't think that result is too significant for this one. If we take a look at both players, CVT and TVZ, we see Serral with a very good CVT, the second best CVT in the world, just slightly not the best, and Maru with the absolutely best TVZ in the world. It's really his best matchup by quite a bit, I have to add. Serral is a lot more consistently high with all matchup, but Maru really shines in this matchup, and all Zergs fear him, and for a very good reason. I'm not entirely sure what's gonna happen here. I'm afraid for Serral, honestly, because the practice with European Terrans won't be even close to the same to what Maru is. Like, Maru is just so much better than anything that we have in Europe that I almost feel like it's a mistake to not go to Korea for Sero to at least practice with some of the top Korean Terrans there. On the other hand, Sero in the past has shown that he doesn't really need to practice with the top Korean Terrans to be able to deal with someone like Maru, someone with like Innovation, some of these top dogs, TY as well. I'm not entirely sure who's gonna win, but my foreigner bias tells me that I'll have to go with Sero with a close 3-2 victory in this one as well. As the decider match, we will have Maru versus Stats, and this is a match that is going to be extremely close. Well, this whole group is absolutely insane, but this match is one I'm looking forward to a lot personally. Right now, in maps, they are 33-34 in favor of Stats. So these guys have been extremely close for a very, very long time, and it's extremely difficult to predict who will win next. There's almost never a very long period of dominance. In late 2016, early 2017, perhaps Stats was a little better. Then Maru had a period, and Stats had a small period where he won 2 in a row. Then Maru won 2 in a row. It never seems to last very long for either of those guys. They're very close in their TVP and their PVT, almost as close as you can get. Aligelak puts them at 2733 for Stats and 2791 for Maru. So this is pretty much the prediction that I would make as well, is that it's basically a toss-up. I don't know who is better in the matchup at the moment. I haven't watched their practice games. I've heard Maru is about 7.1 on the Korean ladder, and I've seen Stats floating around 6.6, but that's on an account that he's streaming on, so add 300, maybe 400 MMR to that, and he also is around 7k, so it's very difficult for me to predict. And stylistically speaking as well, it's not like there's a clear favorite in the current meta game. Perhaps the maps are a little longer, which would favor Stats, but on some maps it's also kind of difficult to defend against multi-prong, thinking of Disco Bloodbath. This is the match that leaves me most dumbfounded out of all of them, and I just don't know. My gut tells me Stats, and my brain tells me Maru. And well, it's always better to go with the brain, so Maru with a 3-2 victory against Stats. That brings us to the end of the predictions of Group B. We'll be back tomorrow with Group C, and the day after with Group D. It's almost like there's a group every single day. See you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below.